You have seen players in our league try to like toughen up Caitlin. We call her CC. CC. For even when I wasn't on her team, like I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room of like, no, we're gonna prove her, we're gonna show her what the W really is. You know what I mean? And like I get it to a certain extent, and like every rookie coming into the league, that's how you're gonna treat them. But
Right.
there's just more for her. So it's her second year, and like now being on her team and like seeing it, I'm like, what are people doing? Like, actually, it's just too much. Too much.
The WNBA has a secret, and it's finally been exposed. According to teammate Sophie Cunningham, the physical punishment of Caitlin Clark isn't just tough basketball, it's a coordinated effort. Cunningham has admitted that teams hold locker room meetings specifically to plan how they're going to toughen up and target the league's biggest star. This isn't speculation anymore. This is an insider confirming a league-wide conspiracy to take down its golden goose. And the details are absolutely shocking.
Sophie said some very unapologetic things, the kind of things that have made her beloved by Fever fans and continue to have her adversaries and detractors crash out. I mean, that's pretty much as simple as you can put it. I mean, the phenomenon of Sophie Cunningham is in large part due to Caitlin Clark, right? Sophie comes over, she protects Caitlin Clark in that Connecticut Sun game, throws JC Sheldon to the floor. That's when she became a viral sensation. But she's always had that personality. She's always been pretty well known in the WNBA space, and now she's on the most hype.
The conspiracy against Caitlin Clark didn't start with a cheap shot or a hard foul in the heat of a game. It started in the one place that should have been focused on strategy, not sabotage, the locker room. Sophie Cunningham, in an explosive revelation on her podcast, admitted that during her time with the Phoenix Mercury, there were explicit conversations about how to handle Clark. It wasn't about outplaying her, it was about physically intimidating her. I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room, Cunningham confessed.
Now, we know Caitlin Clark has been seeing a level of attacks, I should say, dealing with WNBA stars and different
You have seen players in our league try to like toughen up Caitlin. We call her CC. CC. For even when I wasn't on her team, like I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room of like, no, we're gonna prove her, we're gonna show her what.
Like, no, we're gonna show her what the W really is. This wasn't just trash talk, it was a premeditated game plan. A strategy echoed across the league to toughen up the phenom who was single-handedly rewriting the future of their sport. But as Cunningham now admits, what she's seen goes far beyond a rookie initiation. Every rookie coming into the league, that's how you're going to treat them, she explained. But there's just more for her. Now being on her team and seeing it, I'm like, what are people doing? It's just too much. The line had been crossed, and what happened next would prove that the league's silent war had found its first vocal dissenter.
So many fans were waiting for somebody to do what Sophie did, but Sophie Cunningham was not worried about hurting any feelings on this podcast either. This is what she said about the idea that Caitlin Clark may not be the face of the league, which is, you know, just an asinine concept that has been thrown out by some.
And it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
For months, fans watched in horror as Caitlin Clark was subjected to a level of physicality that defied explanation. Blatant dangerous hits were dismissed as common fouls, and a pattern of targeting became painfully obvious to everyone except the referees. Then, on June 17th against the Connecticut Sun, the powder keg finally exploded. After Clark was poked in the eye by JC Sheldon and later shoved to the ground by Marina Mabry with little consequence, Sophie Cunningham decided to take justice into her own hands. In the final moments of the game, she delivered a hard, retaliatory foul on Sheldon that sent a shockwave through the entire league. The act itself was a flagrant foul leading to an ejection, but the message was unmistakable. The days of open season on Caitlin Clark were over. An enforcer had been born, and the fans, desperate for someone to stand up, responded with a level of support that was nothing short of a phenomenon.
Wow, all the sports anchors, they're all haters too. That's crazy. They're definitely not analysts. They don't know shit about basketball. Rick, what the fuck are you talking about? I've never seen so much hate on a new athlete since I've been living. Since my 43 years of living, I've never seen so much hate towards an athlete. He says, oh, she's not getting bullied. This is normal physicality. If you're gonna be talking shit, putting it in my face and saying, yeah, what up, then you gonna have that shit coming for you. Somebody gonna bust you in the mouth for knocking a shot down and talking shit about it. Not because she's a dirty player or not because, she's trying to hurt people, just because she's running.
The aftermath of that single defiant act was immediate and stunning. Within 48 hours, Sophie Cunningham, a respected but relatively unknown role player, became a viral sensation. Her social media following exploded, with her TikTok and Instagram accounts each surging past 1 million followers. Her jersey sold out completely, with fans celebrating her as the protector the Fever and Caitlin Clark so desperately needed. They weren't just buying her merchandise, they were validating her actions, sending a clear message to the league that they stood with the enforcer. This viral uprising wasn't just about a hard foul, it was about a fan base that felt completely ignored. Cunningham had given a voice to their frustrations, and in doing so had become an icon of resistance against a system that seemed intent on destroying its own golden goose.
Look, what we all been witnessing right before our eyes about our precious CC, my precious CC, Caitlin Clark, for the ones who didn't know. So basically, she was saying that when they was preparing, when she was on the other team before she came to the Indiana Fever, we talking about Sophie Cunningham. She was basically saying that the Phoenix Mercury players were basically game planning and saying that they was gonna assault her and give her a whack onto the WNBA.
Now armed with a massive public platform, Sophie Cunningham was no longer just an on-court enforcer. She was a leading voice in the war for Caitlin Clark's protection. She launched a podcast with Colin Cowherd's The Volume Network called Show Me Something. And in its debut episode, she dropped a verbal bombshell. When addressing the critics and fellow players who refused to acknowledge Clark's status, Cunningham didn't mince words. "It literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league," she declared, her voice filled with rage. "When people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, or that our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as you're literally dumb as This wasn't just the defense of her teammate. It was a declaration of war against the narrative being pushed by jealous veterans and a complicit league. The podcast gave her the freedom to say what a uniform couldn't, and she was just getting started.
Like, I get it to a certain extent, and like every rookie coming into the league, that's how you're going to treat them. But there's just more for her. So it's her second year. And like now being on her team and like seeing it, I'm like, what are people doing? Like, actually it's just too much. And like, it's just, I'm over. And if I'm saying it's too much, then it's probably too much.
No, that's so fair.
Like that.
Cunningham's crusade for accountability quickly extended beyond her fellow players and aimed directly at the ones wearing the whistles. She has been openly critical of the WNBA's referees, whom she accuses of failing to control games and protect players, particularly Clark. Her most public act of defiance came in the form of a TikTok video where she lip-synced to lyrics calling someone stupid, slow, and useless with the caption "at some refs." The league, predictable as ever, fined her $500 for the post. Her response was perfect. She reposted the notice of the fine with a laughing emoji, writing, "I don't know why this is funny to me. Like, okay, you got it, bud. Cause there's not more important things to be worried about with our league right now." On her podcast, she doubled down, calling the officiating soft and revealing that players are afraid to speak out for fear of financial penalty. She believes she's the only one willing to publicly say what everyone else is thinking, creating a one-woman stand against what she sees as a systemic failure to protect the game's integrity.
There's no player ever that's gotten this type of treatment coming into the league. LeBron would probably be the closest person that got this type of treatment. And that's only because he's big as fuck and he used to come to the lane, and the only way you could stop him is to pull him down. But even when they used to pull his ass down, they did not try to hurt him. A lot of times they would just grab LeBron and like just stop him from falling. It wasn't malicious with this shit. And it's so sad that y'all just turning a blind eye. Y'all just like, oh, it's not bullying. She's not getting targeted. She deserves it because she talks trash. Oh my God. You know who talks 10 times more trash than Caitlin Clark? Anthony Edwards. You know who's even worse than that? Luka.
At the heart of this entire controversy lies an ugly, unspoken truth that Sophie Cunningham has dared to bring into the light. Pure, unadulterated jealousy. The evidence is impossible to ignore. In the 2025 All-Star voting, Caitlin Clark was the runaway leader in fan votes. Yet, her fellow players ranked her as the 9th best guard in the league. Legendary sportscaster Dick Vitale called it absolutely pure jealousy, a sentiment echoed by countless fans who see the thinly veiled digs and on-court aggression for what it is. What makes this resentment so baffling is that Clark's success is lifting the entire league. The sold-out arena arenas, the charter flights, the skyrocketing TV ratings, and the impending lucrative collective bargaining agreement are all direct results of the Caitlin Clark effect. Cunningham put it plainly, "This is what we've always wanted as a league," she said. "So who cares who gets the credit? And if you're smart, you're making money off of them." But blinded by envy, many players seem determined to tear down the very person responsible for their newfound prosperity.
And it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. Like, we have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league,
Yeah.
or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as
The WNBA tried to silence Sophie Cunningham with a $500 fine for her TikTok video, but that move backfired spectacularly. That fine became the single greatest investment in her career, turning a minor league penalty into millions of dollars in brand value. While the league was trying to punish her, corporate America was celebrating her. She quickly signed major endorsement deals with brands like Ring, Arby's, and Adidas, who recognized the power of her authentic voice. Her merchandise became impossible to find, selling out instantly as fans rushed to support the player who was finally saying what they were all thinking. Cunningham proved that in the new media landscape, being real is far more valuable than being compliant. She turned a token punishment into a powerful statement. The league may control the fines, but the fans and their wallets control the narrative.
And I almost venture to say that if Sophie Cunningham wasn't who she is, and people didn't sort of know what she's about, she wouldn't have been fined. But am I shocked that an activist basketball league decided to target Sophie Cunningham? No. I'm not surprised by that. I mean, this whole league's got all of its priorities all bleeped up from the very...
The most glaring hypocrisy in this entire saga is how Caitlin Clark's on-court demeanor is used to justify the abuse she endures. Critics and rival players claim she talks trash and therefore deserves what she gets. Yet the standard is applied to no one else. As many have pointed out, NBA stars like Anthony Edwards and Luka Doncic are celebrated for their fiery, talkative personalities. Their trash talk is seen as part of the entertainment, a sign of their competitive fire. But when Clark does it, it's used as a green light for physical retribution. Sophie Cunningham sees this double standard for what it is. A pathetic excuse to target a player who's outshining everyone else. For a league that prides itself on player empowerment and activism, its willingness to let its biggest star be physically punished for showing the same passion as her male counterparts is a stunning betrayal of its own values.
NBA last year was the first year in its like 25-30-year existence that it was profitable. Made $1 million. But it was the first time that it didn't lose money because the NBA supplements. Well, when Caitlin Clark comes to town, you have to go from the 8,000 seat WNBA arena to the 30,000 seat whatever arena across town, because of ticket sales and all of the apparel and all of this stuff that's coming from Caitlin Clark. And you're just like, okay, but the league is totally destroying her. You know, they're trying to destroy her from within, and it's the players they can't.
I mean, the phenomenon of Sophie Cunningham is in large part due to Caitlin Clark, right? Sophie comes over, she protects Caitlin Clark in that Connecticut Sun game, throws JC Sheldon to the floor. That's when she became a viral sensation. But she's always had that personality. She's always been pretty well known in the WNBA space. And now she's on the most high profile team, getting all sorts of endorsement deals and the like, and has been playing extremely well at.
Here is the most damning and terrifying part of what Sophie Cunningham has witnessed: the physical toll of this relentless war. After a collegiate career at Iowa, where she never missed a single game due to injury, and a rookie season where she played in all 40 regular season games, Caitlin Clark's sophomore campaign has been ravaged by injuries. It started with a left quad strain, then a left groin injury, and now a right groin injury. She has been sidelined for huge stretches of the season, missing the Commissioner's Cup final and the All-Star game, which was held in her own city. These aren't impact injuries from a single bad fall. They are soft tissue injuries, the kind that often result from cumulative physical stress and a body being pushed beyond its limits. Sophie Cunningham sees the undeniable connection that the league refuses to acknowledge. The constant, unchecked physicality, the targeting, and the lack of protection from referees are breaking down their most valuable asset. The dots are all there, and even Clark's own brother Colin briefly posted on social media blaming the referees for her latest injury before quickly deleting the tweet. It's a silent conspiracy with a very loud and painful outcome.
One of the biggest epidemics in the history of sports right now is going on with the WNBA and their referees. They suck. All right, their referee situation blows. The officiating, they can't get the calls right. When they do go over to look at something, it takes them forever, and then they still get it wrong. And they also will not come down on these players for trying to take out the league's greatest asset. The league's greatest golden goose that is going to eventually make all these players and the commissioner and all these people all this money. They won't officiate. They won't take care of.
Let's take a look at this photo right here. If this doesn't tell you that Caitlin Clark, everywhere she goes, moves the needle, ESPN and all these talking heads are idiots. She did not even play in this game. This game was actually the Barbie game for Angel Reese. But look at the amount of people that came to this game just to see Caitlin Clark sit on the bench.
The WNBA stands at a critical crossroads, a tipping point from which there may be no return. The league can continue to turn a blind eye, allowing the jealousy, the hypocrisy, and the referee incompetence to slowly dismantle the career of a generational talent. Or it can listen to the courageous voice of Sophie Cunningham, the enforcer who dared to speak truth to power and finally protect its most valuable asset. The signs are everywhere. Clark's mounting injuries, the escalating on-court aggression, and the growing chorus of frustrated fans demanding change. Sophie Cunningham has done her part. She put her reputation, her finances, and her own body on the line to send a message. She spoke up when everyone else stayed silent. Now, the question is no longer what is happening to Caitlin Clark, but rather, what is the WNBA going to do about it before their golden goose is destroyed for good?